Hello everyone, welcome to 100 days 100 DBA tool script series. Now we are at day 6. Myself Ravishekar. In the previous session we talked about testing the TempDB configuration, right? So in this session we'll talk about how to adjust the proper TempDB configuration for a single system or a multiple systems we can see in this session. So the main agenda of this session is, first of all we'll discuss what we have done and how we have tested in the previous session. Along with that, why TempDB fix is really required in a day-to-day environments, and what is exactly this DBA tool command will do, Set-DbaTempDbConfig, and what are the prerequisites before running this command, and what is the syntax, and what happen when we execute this command, and also after executing this setDB configuration, how do we validate, and we'll take one enterprise use case along with safety notes, and when we should not use. All things we'll discuss in this session. So first of all, in the previous session, the main concern we have raised, single or uneven TempDB data files. Usually most of the systems are having proper TempDB files, but there are very little bit chances of single or uneven TempDB files, which means that maybe the server is having single data file or 3, 5, 7, 9 uneven TempDB files is not a best practices. Okay, but from 2016 onwards we are properly configuring 4 or 8, 12 based on the CPU core count, but still there are some possibility to verify. We need to verify whether how many TempDB data files are available in the system. And also most of the cases, because this is most important, I have seen in my past as well, so many of the cases the DBAs are not setting the auto growth properly. That is one more thing for TempDB sizes, and there is no pre-sized TempDB files of a SQL Server, and whenever we didn't set properly, whenever if there is any heavy workload on the system like page latch update stats, obviously we can see high contention systems on the server. So why we need to fix this TempDB? We have verified, we have detected in the previous session if there is something wrong like file count or trace flag, if we didn't configure properly, so we have to fix it. So detection will not resolve the issue, it is just a validation, right? So it will not resolve the TempDB contention. So obviously whenever you misconfigure the TempDB, whatever it is, even or odd number of files or auto growth settings or any other things, if you misconfigured, it will affect all your workloads. And if you fix it by manually, it won't work all the time, but it will work. I mean, you can do it, but manual fixes are inconsistent. And also standardization is key for stability to reduce your performance issues. So what is Set-DbaTempDbConfig command will do is, it is a DBA tool as you all know, and what it will do is it implements the SQL Server best practices for TempDB database. It will implement automatically, it will set all the best practices for your SQL Server instance. It will create consistent TempDB layout for your SQL Server instance, and it is a fully automated ready command. What this command will do is, it will create some optimal number of data files based on your CPU and core count, and make sure what it will do is, it will ensure that all the data file is having equal sizes. All data files is having equal size, along with proper auto growth settings also it will be adjusted, and it aligns the TempDB with CPU count. Whenever we execute this Set-DbaTempDbConfig, it will check the CPU count. Based on that, it will create optimal number of data files with equal size with proper auto growth. So before running this command, what we need to do is, the prerequisites before running this command is, here SQL Server restart is required, and also we need to have a proper maintenance window. If it is a dev environment, that should be fine, but if it is a QA or production system or pre-prod system, we need to have a proper maintenance window with approval. And then before running this, we have to test it once again whether TempDB configuration is properly configured or not. So we need to check that part, and we need to detect or to validate the TempDB configuration. Whatever the command we have used in the previous session, test-DBATempDbConfig, we need to run along with our SQL Server instance. So it will give the results. If there is any not best practices, automatically we can identify. Based on that, we can run this command. So before running this command, we have to take care of this disk space as well. Okay, as it is creating additional data files, or else if it is adjusting additional auto growth, or if it is creating any it is creating even number of files, make sure we have to check the disk space as well. And the main common command is to set the TempDB configuration. Set-DbaTempDbConfig, we'll see directly on the server. Now I am on the server. If you can see, the command is set-DbaTemp. If you type half of the command, automatically if you hit the tab, automatically this will complete the command. I mean, like, it will automatically come the full command. And then what you need to do is you can pass SQL instance. Okay, SQL instance, and then SQL01, your instance name SQL01. It is not case sensitive. You can pass either small or capital. It will automatically detect and it will adjust. So whenever you hit enter, so it is asking it, we need to pass some parameters, data file size. So what I am doing here is, so I am setting the data file size to 256. I am setting the 256 in MB. By default it will take in MB only, so I am entering 256 MB. So here, if you can see here, current DB in SQL01 is not suitable to be reconfigured because the current TempDB has files with a size of 256 larger than the calculated individual configuration. So what we will do is, we'll change the value to another 512 or 1024. I will do 512 MB. So if you can see here, automatically the single data file size is 256 MB. It is already configured. The total data file size is 512 MB. If you can see here, data file count, we have 2 TempDB data files. Each file size is 256 MB. The total data file size is 512. Why it didn't take 256? Before that, to split the file, already my file size is 256. So that's why it didn't. So it is extended to 256 plus 256, 512, and the log file size is 8 MB. And currently it is located in this location. Data file growth is 512 MB and log file growth is 512 MB. So if you are not sure how to run this command, what you need to do is, so you can take help from the get help. So get help. So the command is set-DbaTempDbConfig. TempDbConfig. You can mention -examples. So whenever you hit enter, you will get how to use this command. You will get a clear size. Set-DbaTempDbConfig, and then followed by SQL instance and the instance name and the data file size 1000. It will take it as a MB. What it is doing, it will create TempDB with number of data files to equal to the logical cores, where each file size equal to 1000 MB divided by the number of logical cores. So based on the logical cores, it will divide and it will create those many files. As I mentioned, so here we have given 512 MB, right? So 512 by 2, because our course is 2. So 512 by 2, 256 MB. So it is automatically adjusted based on the CPU count. Okay, and the log file of 250 MB. And if you mention a SQL instance, data file size is 1000, and you can also mention data file count 8, but it is not needed. If you pass this value, automatically it will detect all the CPU cores. Based on the CPU core, it will adjust the size of the file and it will divide based on the CPU cores. This is how you can do it. Here one more thing is, now you don't want to execute this directly. Now you need a script. What exactly you wanted to do is, okay, so it is automatically adjusting, right? So my doubt is I wanted to set with data file size. What I am doing here is 1024. So what it will do, currently I am having two files, it will divide by 2. So my each data file size would be 512 my data file size. And what it will do is, if we pass output script only, so what it will do is, it will not execute, it will give the syntax. Like in SQL Server Management Studio, if you make any changes through GUI, there is an option called script to generate, right? Likewise here also you have an option to script out the command. So you can script out this command, you can copy this command, and you can also directly execute on the server. So you can directly execute on the server also. If you can see here, alter database. So you can directly execute this as well. So once it is executed, again what you need to do, so you have to verify TempDbaTempDbConfig. So once you verify -SQL instance, here you can mention SQL 01. So here it is giving in a stack. So what I will do is, I will format into the table. Format. Now you can see, so it is already in best practice. It will not give you the current size, but whether it is best practice or not, you can see the information with the help of TempDbaTempDbConfig, right? So for example, if you have multiple instances, same, you can pass by SQL 01, SQL 02, SQL 03. Okay, this is how you need to pass. Once if it is executed, what we need to do is, once the fix is completed, we have to restart the SQL Server during our maintenance window. Once restart is completed, we need to verify the TempDBConfig, whether all the best practices are implemented or not. Once confirms all the checks is pass or true, means here is best practice is true or not, or the recommended setting or the current setting is changed or not, we have to verify. You can see here the data file size is equal, current is true, recommended is also true. Always this should be, current setting and recommended setting should be matched. So and also is best practice is correctly matched or not, we will get it from the script itself. Okay, so once we confirm all checks are passed, then we have to document the complaints, what we have made, when we have made, and which servers we have made the changes. We have to document for reference purpose. What happened and when, we'll take one example use case. What happened exactly when we execute this command is, it will calculate the recommended TempDB settings based on the CPU core count, and it will update the TempDB configuration. It will automatically backend, it will change the TempDB file sizes, and it will equally create the file sizes as well, and also apply to the next SQL Server restart. Okay, and there will be no impact on any user databases, but make sure you have to done in the SQL Server maintenance window. Okay, for example, if you take any use case, different TempDB configure across the servers, because some servers we may have different compatibility, different files and different locations, right? So in that case, what we need to do is, we have to verify and then fix the thing. And inconsistent builds from different teams, because sometimes we may not get a chance to install the SQL Server and configure the servers. Sometimes infra team or build team or operations team, they will build the VM along with the SQL Server installation. So they might be not having proper information. To avoid, once we receive the server, we have to verify whether TempDB is properly configured or not. Okay, and we need to standardize the TempDB in minutes with the help of Set-DbaTempDbConfig command. So it will reduce the future performance issues as well. So the safety notes, the best practices is, so it will not restart the SQL Server automatically. We have to do it manually. We have to do the manual restart. It will not auto restart the SQL services. And it is completely safe when you planned correctly. So if you plan correctly within the downtime window, if you plan correctly, it is a fully safe command. It will not impact, it will not restart the services. It is just modifying the file. Until and unless you restart the server, the settings will be remain same. So when we should not use this is if we don't have a restart window available, and if you don't have a storage, proper storage, and if you don't have proper approval, and if it is a shared server, so you have to be very careful on this part. Okay, so in this session we talked about how to adjust the TempDB configuration for a single instance or a multiple instance. Along with that, if you want to generate a script, instead of fixing automatically, if you want to generate a script also, we have executed, we have tested. And what this command Set-DbaTempDbConfig enforces the always best practices as per the CPU and core count. And the standardization will improve the scalability as well. And these strong foundations, the basic foundations, will prevent you the contention along with future performance issues. Okay, so this is about all this Set-DbaTempDbConfig command. So in the next session we'll come up with another command with powerful report. Thank you so much.